Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another edition of the Monie Podcast. I'm your girl, Monie, and today we're sitting down with someone whose work quietly shifts the landscape of innovation, empowerment, and community. He's a retired biochemist turned change maker, founder of the Canadian Multicultural Inventors Museum, advocate for STEM, education in underrepresented communities, and he's the recipient of the William P. Hubbard Race Relations Awards for his outstanding service. Sounds like big things, big things. All right. So, from science to social innovation, from youth empowerment to global influence, we're going to dive into his story, his mission, and his vision for what's possible. Please help me welcome my guest, Mr. Francis Jeffers. Hello.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here with you.
Yes.
And it's a real pleasure and honor. It's a privilege.
Thank you so much for taking the time to be here. Just reading your bio and everything, I'm just like, you're a classic, maybe what we would call, or what I would call it, a little bit of a nerd, would you say?
I hope not. But it can be interpreted that way sometimes when you're in science.
When you're in science, like, he's a little bit of a nerd. But it's really good to have you. I just really wanted to dive into your story. When I read a little bit about your story online, I was like, I'd really like to have him and talk a little bit more about how you got started into this field and so forth. So walk us through your journey. How did you get into community work and technology?
So I was born in the lovely nature island of the Caribbean.
Yes, let's pick up the accent.
Right?
That's it.
And the nature island of the Caribbean, for those who might know, is Dominica.
Yes.
It's a lovely island smack in the middle of the Caribbean. We're both in the Anglophone and Francophone Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
And at 16 years old, I had the pleasure of coming to and moving to Canada.
Okay.
To meet my mom and her family, and it was an interesting time coming up here. So I in Dominica is very much interested in history of the Caribbean, and I fully expected to go to UE, either to Jamaica, Trinidad or Barbados, depending on which direction we'll go, to study at the University of West Indies.
Yes.
And but fate, right?
Yes.
And these moments come up, and all of a sudden, you're making a paradigm shift, and you're in Canada, coming here on a cool night on the 4th of November, 1972. It was not warm, and coming from Dominica, and popping at Pearson Airport.
Mm-hmm.
And stepping into the freezer box,
yes,
was a pretty.
I know that feeling. Yeah,
was a hell of a moment, but it has been a really wonderful time coming here, because whereas in the Caribbean, studying Caribbean history, when I came to Canada, and I did 1 year of high school here, and the question of continuing to study Caribbean history didn't seem like an option.
Okay.
Now it's an option for young people. Now you can go to York or quite a few universities, and you can do Black studies, Caribbean studies, and all of that stuff. So I asked, where are the jobs? And they said it was in science. I said, okay, why not?
That's where you're headed.
Right. I was pretty pragmatic. Right. Nice. And so decided to do science. But the interesting thing in my class was that was the gender balance, and also the gender balance, especially as related to people of African descent, because in when I came here, I'll give a quick little joke. There was the first day in Canada, first day at school, which was my second day in Canada. I saw this amazing, beautiful woman, and I thought, this country is not that bad. It's cold, but it's not that bad. And I said to my first friend, who's still my best friend,
yes,
I said, who is this person? And I fell in love.
Aww.
Right? And I said, how will I get to talk to her? Then just come up here.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, there's a school dance to come on Friday, and we'll go." So I think all week I practiced in front of the mirror. I was doing my because dancing is my pleasure. Until my mother said, "I did not bring you to Canada to just do dancing. You come to go to school."
Yeah.
I said, "Mommy, this is very exciting. I want to meet people, da, da, da." So I think I was one of the first people at the dance. I was so motivated.
Yeah.
Came to on the dance floor and started doing my thing.
Mm-hmm.
This young lady walked in, and I swear that she was floating. I didn't think she was walking. And and if you remember the old movies, where sometimes you see
Yes, walking
slow
up
motion,
here a little bit.
and and it's not. And I said, "Oh, what a moment!" She came and she said, "Hi, Francis."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Hi." She said, "I didn't know you could dance." And I looked. I just came up from Dominica. Dancing is my passion. And for this young lady, as pretty as she is, to ask if she knew she could dance. And I thought, wow. So I said, "What made you say that?"
Mm-hmm.
She said, "You wear glasses and you're in science."
See?
So the nerd comment, you know what I mean?
Right away.
So, and I said,
Darn it.
and for those who know Spanish, they say, "La cabeza es bobo." It means, I mean, she's stupid. I thought she's stupid. Okay. So she just kind of diminished in my eyes, right? I remember going home and mommy asked me, "How was the dance?" I said, I don't know.
Yeah.
No.
It was what it was.
Yeah. It was kind of turned off.
Oh my God.
But Monday morning, when I went to school and I went to my chemistry class, my physics class,
yes,
I realized I was the only black male taking the science courses. And I realized she was not wrong in terms of her perception, because her reality was that most of the people most of the young black men that she met weren't going into the sciences.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so she wasn't stupid at all. She was dealing with her reality. Yeah. And it was my first relationship understanding that there was a connection in Canada between race, color of skin, and science and what discipline. Because growing up in Dominica, we're 98% people of African descent.
That's true.
So in my class, there's all kinds of people. And some do science, some do history, some do whatever you want to do, you do.
Yeah.
It has nothing at all to do with your race, but has to do with your what you enjoy, what you're good at, etc., etc. So so that was an interesting understanding of being a minority in Canada.
In Canada, yeah, right? Around that.
And then having further conversations with my friends, realized that it's such a low percentage of young black people going to the sciences.
Yeah, it is.
So so I was in grade 12 at that time. Really dating myself now. No, there's no such thing. But so fast forward, I went to university. And again, there was very few students, black students taking science. And then they either came up and spoke to some people and said, "What can you do about it?" And we started to talk. And I heard there was a black education project downtown where, young Caribbean students can go and get help and assistance. So I went and volunteered there. So, and so it started my life volunteering in the black community.
Okay.
In the areas of education. And it's what I've been doing since.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love to hear that, how you started it, your love for it, and you were one of the first basically to, step foot into the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so we in education in general, and then when we actually started to think of how we can make a difference, I met my wife at university, and just in conversations, because we had a Black Students Association kind of thing.
Yes.
And realized that we had to do something much more consistent.
Yes.
And so I was trying to think of what would that be.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so it started. So yes, we volunteered tutoring and stuff like that, but after realizing we need more, something much more consistent that is directly in the sciences, not just covering every subject, in order that we can make a difference.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that was the segue into
that led into the full blown. You might have touched on it. I like the story. I love the background. What keeps you committed to serving the youth and building future leaders right now that you're...
It's been a passion. I mean, plus I was pretty fortunate. My dad was a headmaster in Dominica, but he taught Latin.
Okay.
And he was passionate about education, and passionate about education for marginalized youth. As a headmaster, if he came from a poor background, he was 10 times harder than you. Harder on, and you'd get like, why is it being so hard on you?
Yeah.
But his thing was that education was the way out.
It's usually
so
parents.
Right. And so that linked into education, and then the fact that he was also very I grew up very Gaviite in the sense of my understanding of African descent, that we have to make changes, we have to empower ourselves, and we have to do it. Not other people do it first. We have to do it because we have to take control of our own destiny.
Yes.
And then when I had children, I knew that there was no way that we were going to go through the same situation.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, and I was fortunate I had a partner who was committed to that.
Yeah.
And so then, therefore, one knowing themselves as a person of African descent, understanding what that means, the privilege that comes with that, and then also the aspect of education, and and it's passionate. And then most Jeffers, I found out later on that most Jeffers go into education.
You see?
So there might be a genetic thing in there, I don't know.
It's in the bloodstream. It's in the stream. It had to go that way, Really love that you're passionate about the youth and you really stuck with it. What's one moment that changed the direction of your life, would you say? That a drastic shift or change?
That's a good question. I think that key moment was coming to Canada. Because it changed everything in terms of my direction. Was a big move for me because I love carnivals. I'm a carnival baby. I'm fortunate that my dad was Trinidadian, although he lived in Dominica. And so I grew up listening to Trinidadian radio and calypso, and Dominica is also into soca and everything. And so the music and everything like that, and having a desire to just do all the kind of things. And it just happened that the day I left Dominica, the day it was our Independence time. And on the day following Independence Day, there's normally, we got to play mass in the streets.
Okay, yes.
And I couldn't understand why my mother would pick that day for me to travel to Canada.
Oh, gosh.
And I was literally dancing in the street to the last minute. I had to step into a car to take me to the airport, right? And so that day stuck in my head.
Yeah, you're gonna remember that.
Because it was, I can't believe that she'd actually have me. I thought maybe the following day, but she booked the ticket right on.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh! Wow. So you're like the Caravana parade and thing like that.
I will play carnival anywhere that I go.
Oh wow!
Till I'll be in a wheelchair, and I will dance in a wheelchair.
Okay. Soca. I want to get into the background and your mission. You in your earlier career in biochemistry, it's impressive, and what led you from lab work into founding the Canadian Multicultural Inventors Museum, CMIM, basically. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that.
So my first organization actually was called Visions of Science.
Okay.
It still exists, Visions of Science Network for Learning. And that organization was when when I was part of the African Canadian Heritage Association, we thought it was important that the kids not only learn about the African heritage, but then the origins of science within the people of African origin.
Okay.
Where I think the various contributions of people of African origin.
Yes.
And so when we formed Vision Science, there's a network of science clubs across the city of Toronto. We were primarily in TCHC locations, Toronto Community Housing. The organization still exists.
Nice.
So I actually did that for 25 years of my life. Wow. And I was fortunate that the company that I worked for, Canuck Laboratories, which became Novo, which became Sanofi, always supported my work. And so then therefore every year I got a check to do the things I was doing. Right? So that was one of the reasons I also stayed at the company, because when I enjoyed what I do, I enjoyed working in the lab, doing chemistry, but also I'm a people person. So after a while, the lab was kind of confining. So it was important for me at the end of the day, know that I'm going home, and that in the evening and on weekends, I'm going to be working in my community. Because as a family, our kids grew up in the African Heritage Program, and from the time they were 2.5 to the age of 16, every Saturday, they went and learned about people of African descent and celebrated Kwanzaa, and then looked at how we incorporate Kwanzaa principles into their everyday life.
Yeah, that's important. I like that. Yeah.
And for me, it was my own experience with kids. I always was wondering when I bring up my kids, what kind of philosophy are you going to bring them in?
Yes.
And when I heard about Kwanzaa principles and what it meant, then there was how I was going to instill that as part of my children's life, so that they have a base that is based on African principles that allow them to be universal in terms of how it's manifested. Right. So that was a fascinating time. It was my one little experiment with my children. And saying, hey, I understand Gabby's and how I put that into regular life.
Yes.
But what other ways that something that relates to them as being born in the diaspora, so that they understand themselves as a person, as a member of the family, as a member of African / Black community in Canada, and also as a Canadian. So I really wanted to make them know that that they are Canadians.
Yes.
And the fact that as Canadians, people of African descent have been here since 1604. So we take we don't have to listen to people who don't know history of Canada to talk about whether you just came or you just came off the boat or you just came off the plane. No, we've been here since 1604, and we've been, when Europeans came here, well, Vikings came here before.
Yes.
But when Europeans from the Southern Europeans came to Canada, people of African descent were the people who was translating for the Europeans into communications with indigenous peoples. So we have the history of Canada, we are totally embedded in the history of Canada.
Yeah, we're so infused.
Many people could say boo to you, it's an indigenous person. That's the fact in Dominica, we have the only indigenous territory in the islands. So the indigenous people of the Caribbean are the Kalinago and Taino people. And in Dominica, we have a Kalinago community. So the issue of indigenous peoples and linking with them and what that meant, and history. So the history was very interesting in terms of parallels.
Yes,
right? So
you can see that's the deep foundation of it. I like that you were able to introduce, that to your children, and they, I don't know if they accept, they just,
at the
time, they had no choice.
Somebody said to me once, you brainwash your children. I said, well, I have a choice. I can either let the system brainwash them or I brainwash them.
Do it.
So which one do you think I should?
Okay, that's an over. Love that. With the Canadian Multicultural Inventors Museum, you emphasize like inventions from different communities. Can you share a story of like maybe an inventor that you encountered that you deeply felt impacted by? Is there an inventor that you came across?
There's one inventor, Patterson. So there's this guy, Patterson, and his company is named Patterson and Sons. And they were the first and only for a long time sort of a company that manufactured cars.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Okay.
So at the period of time when Ford started to make cars, and when there was around 3 or 4 companies in North America that started to make cars and and invented cars and different type of models and all of that kind of stuff. And Patterson at that time and Sons had a car company.
Yeah.
And what it would take for somebody to have the courage to build a car company at a time when racism was at its height.
At its height, yeah.
You know what I mean? Other than the Trump period. But so getting financing and all of that stuff, it would be just a challenge because people were moving from working in the cotton fields and domestic labor to trying to think of how they build communities. And this guy decided to build a car, you know.
Wow.
So, and again, eventually the company had to end, but had to end because the same reasons why we don't have enough companies now.
Yeah.
Financing,
it's hard. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the courage that they had to build models, sell cars at a time when they competed against people who were extremely well financed.
Yeah.
That level of self-determination is, I mean, there's a lot of great inventors, you know what I mean? But that one, because it was invention, innovation, and entrepreneurship, right? Which is the same things that we are trying to teach now in our communities, right? So life has a way of being very cyclic, right? And there's one other guy in terms of when people talk about vaccines, and my background is that I worked for 32 years in the vaccine industry. A lot of times people would talk about the fact, well, you know, they create vaccines to da. Well, you know what? It was a person of African descent who brought in inoculation to the knowledge of people in the States, right? This guy, Anonymous, who came from West Africa and was enslaved. And there was a smallpox outbreak in Boston. And he heard a conversation of his owner talking with somebody in Boston about the issue that they didn't know how to deal with the smallpox epidemic. And he solved the problem for them.
Wow.
So he said, but you know, they have that issue. They have this kind of issues in the West Africa. And what they would do basically was take a thorn. If somebody had a disease and say they got in any kind of welts on their hand, or they would just prick the person or scratch that person and go around to healthy people and just scratch their hands.
Just wow.
And then so that reaction of the healthy person would cause that person to create antibodies to the disease, to whatever it is, and then protect them. This is the thing that we do now. So we are inoculating people, you know, way back in ancient Africa, right? And so when people, again, don't know the history and say, well, people do this first, or people make us do this, or people, a lot of times it's decisions that we made. So we try to have pride, but then belittle our ancestors, which doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? So those are the kind of things that are the nuggets for me of letting people understand them. At no time when we are innovative people, when we're not innovative, we're creating. If you're the original people, this only thing you can do is bring forth humanity. So that's why it's so important for people to learn their history. And even something like Black History Month. So why did they give us the the shortest and coldest month.
Yeah.
And I said, well, but then you need to learn the origin of Black History Month because it was something that we established. And we established it. And the people who established it were in the South, right? So for them, they didn't have winter. So they're not looking in terms of it's a cold month or whatever.
That's right.
It's just say, look, let's have a Negro History Week, and which so we can celebrate our heritage and things that we do. And they did it in February because within that week, Abraham Lincoln and Douglas, a great African American abolitionists, that was their birthdays. So there's always logical reasons why our people do things. We don't do things out of just craziness, right? So, but it's to go back and learn the histories so that you can honor your past, so that you can move forward to the future.
Love that. I hope you guys are enjoying our conversation. We're speaking to Mr. Francis Jeffers, aka Mr. Founder for the CMIM. You received an award. You received the William P. Hubert Race Relations Award, which highlights decades of social impact. What did that recognition mean to you personally and professionally, would you say?
So, as an African Canadian, I am very strongly nationalist as a Dominican. I'm strongly nationalist as a Canadian, right? The William P. Hubbard Award is named after William Hubbard, who was an inventor. Right. So he was a politician. He started off when his family came up here for the Underground Railroad and etc. And he was a driver for a politician, right? So you'd hear them, I guess, people in the car talking about politics, and he wanted to contribute to the city of Toronto. And at that time he was a baker, right? Making a living as a baker, but he aspired for more, right? But the interesting thing of him as a baker is that he actually invented an oven and patented an oven called the Hubbard oven. Right? So he is an inventor, he's an entrepreneur, and then in hearing comments about politics, etc., decided to get into political life in the city of Toronto, and was the first black person to be an acting mayor, and for in Toronto, and he actually headed the commission that started Ontario Hydro. So in terms of the history, for me, was that connection, right, with another person of African descent whose home is in Toronto, and his pride in Toronto, his pride in Canada, and the desire not only to reach whatever heights he can get to in Canada in his contribution. That for me was a very important award. I've been fortunate to win quite a lot of awards. I won a High Jerome Award, and so on. But again, it's looking at it's a real honor when you realize that you're on the path and you're contributing to that path, and other people in the past who have contributed to that path and made a name for themselves. But they weren't selfish. They looked at where they married their life, community, their family, in the aspect so that they can be a symbol of pride for other people. Because not everybody comes from an empowered family. So when you have role models who are empowered,
very important.
You want that representation so young people know. And for me, that was also my thing, my gift to my new home, Canada. That this is my gift, so that because I want it to be a better place for my children, because they are born here. You know what I mean? So they're not Dominican, they're not Guyanese. They are of Caribbean background, and they're of African background, and they're also Canadians. So it's the fullness of who they are.
They get the full, man. I'm getting a history lesson, get some science in here. There's so much things that you're saying that I had no idea. This is really like, I'm just in awe of some of the things you've just revealed, especially about William being the first with hydro.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's good to know. I thought, science, when I was in high school, science humbled me. I, wasn't really much into that, but chemistry basically took me out. I was like, yeah. So I was more of the artsy person, fashion, creativity, but just hearing about your journey with science and just how big it's gotten and the highlights of your career, it's just it's really good to see that.
But it's interesting though, because I actually have a fashion line.
Yes. See, we're getting all of that. We got the science, we got the fashion, we got the history. We're gonna have to touch on that. We're gonna have to touch on your fashion line. I don't think I knew that you had a fashion line. I think you just revealed that to me. I'm like, how are we gonna break that up?
Didn't want to take the conversation.
No, but that's good. We definitely would like to touch on that.
It's about all you can be, really.
Yeah.
And I didn't find that.
You explored all avenues.
I didn't find that out until
later on,
when I moved to live in South Africa.
Oh, that's when the fashion kicked in, eh?
Yeah, because for the time I was 10, I wanted to live.
Yes.
In South Africa. And at the time, it was a period of apartheid. My friends would say, "What, are you crazy? Are you going to go to a place where they're discriminating people?" And I said, well, one day I was going to go there. You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
And eventually I got to go.
You got to go.
Yeah. In 2010, there was a World Cup in
that was the best time
South Africa.
To go.
And I went with my middle son.
Time.
I went there and I just fell in love with the country. And again, I came back and came up to my boss and said, "I'm done." He said, "What do you mean you're done?" I said, "I'm done.
Wow. Just like that.
I'm going home."
It really influenced you or changed you're like, yeah, that's a wrap for me. As soon as I go and hand in my resignation, I'm out.
Yeah. And he said, that does make sense, friend.
Yeah.
He said, "How are you going to live?" I said, I'm cool.
I'm good.
I'm cool.
Wow.
Yeah. And it took me a year. I mean, I had worked there for 30 years.
Yeah.
So I needed something to live with, right?
Yes.
And it took a year for him to, I wrote a business case for him saying, look, you can hire, there's all these new graduates, right? They have all kind of amazing skills and all that kind of stuff. They will cost you less. I said, if you could just take that and bring it to senior management, right? He said, "You really want to go?" I said, "No, I'm serious. I'm out of here.
Oh,
I'm out of here."
God.
It took me for a year. And I went back, and I went back and lived.
Wow.
And then I did everything that I'd never done before.
That's courageous. I think that's really, a lot of people listening may want to do something like that. Just go into their job and just be like, yeah,
just do
I'm out.
Just do it.
We think it.
It shocks you though.
Yes, because just hearing you say that, I'm like,
when you have a steady paycheck.
Exactly. And
then all of a sudden the paycheck is not there.
Where to fall on next?
I remember the first time I saw, because what I did, I just got early retirement. Because when I just came to Canada, there was this insurance company, London Life or Empire Life. Actually, I remember the name. But they had this commercial about Freedom 55. And I said, that's what I want, Freedom 55. No, you can't talk about Freedom 55 now. It's
that guy.
But so I started wanting to do that, and then at 55, when I went there, and I realized, oh, you know what? I just want to go live. I want to do what I want. You know what I mean?
Freedom of that.
Yes, and just and it was. I remember my boss said, Freedom 55 is a concept that doesn't exist at all. But I remember so I got that, and I got my first paycheck as retired.
Yes.
And I looked at it. I had to go sit down.
Yeah, slap yourself a little bit.
Practice, are you serious? This is
look at it one more time.
I call my kids and say,
read this for me, guys.
Tell me I'm not crazy. And my kids said, just go for it.
Yeah. Oh man, you see, that's a trust God moment. You didn't
Absolutely. You know,
where, what, you just said, I'm going. And I'm glad that you did, because that experience, it just opened a whole new world for you.
You know.
That's amazing. I love that. Love that.
Because I co-owned a hair salon. I didn't know nothing about hair.
And that's what you did when you went back.
Yeah, when I went there, yeah, I met a South African lady who lived in Toronto before. She had a hair salon, and she says, "Why don't you, you know?" I mean, I co-owned, the hair salon.
Yes.
And then what I did, I brought computers and science stuff, and then it was in a township, which is more like not a ghetto, but is a where more marginalized people live.
Yes.
But in the hair salon, I was at, I ran an after school program for street kids, right? We had 20 kids. They would come in, they would do the homework. Then after they get computer time, and then I would turn on the jukebox,
The jukebox.
I had actual jukebox, but a player, and I teach them how to dance soca and reggae.
Yes, yes.
You know what I mean? And and they did well.
Wow.
And I said, my standard is my standard. A lot of those kids said, well, they're not learning well, they're not doing well.
Yes.
So when the kids came, I said, look, my standard is here.
Oh, God.
You might be here, but I'm not coming down.
Yeah.
You're coming
up. Meet me up here.
Right. And they did amazing.
They did,
They did amazing.
You challenged them.
I challenged them.
Wow.
The 3 of our kids came 1, 2, 3, our high school kids. They came 1, 2, 3 in the student council election. We did. It was an amazing time, right?
Yeah.
And it was just, and so we had to do all things to we had to hustle.
Yes, yes.
I got into I would go back and forth between Toronto and. So I would I'd have women who are buying African stuff.
Yes, yes.
And then I'd bring to Canada and buy stuff here. The name brand stuff for women in South Africa, name brand. And got to buy women's clothes. Then I end up designing 3 outfits, which I sold.
Yes.
So then I have a line of shoes, still have to be.
Oh my God.
That still has to be. I have all these samples now. I need to use up on the science of it and then do more. Get my line.
Amazing.
Well, but my thing was just being myself.
Now, where do you have?
They're home. The samples are home because they're all. The line is called. This line of shoes is called "All About You."
All about you.
It's totally customized.
Yes.
They are. It's completely beaded. We transform the shoes completely.
I love.
So we don't give you the shoes. You give us the shoes,
and then
we repurpose that shoes.
Okay.
And it's your shoes.
Yes.
You tell us what to design.
Makes sense. All about you.
Right? And I would work with people who bead, and we bead it and we transform it completely.
Love that.
I mean, it's but I don't bead personally. So I worked with women who've been beading. Right. Their families been beading for like 100 years or so. Like they just, you know what I mean?
I'd like to get.
So my dream is to get that shoes back. It's not going to be cheap because but we beat the shoe, get the shoes beaded. We'll have the accessories. But it's one of my things I want to do.
Yeah.
I'd send you a picture of
I'd love to see some pictures of this.
The one in Jamaica is one in Jamaica colors. It's just.
Yes, that one stands out, eh?
Yes. People have offered me all kind of money for that. But I said, that's the sample.
That was a sample that looks the best. That was that.
Yeah.
Always a sample.
So we,
pull you in.
So I do get people to bead in all different kind of Caribbean colors. So you could have an outfit. We'd repurpose jeans and all kinds of stuff. So.
Nice.
So
a mini fashionista as well.
Yeah.
Science. Now we're into the fashion. Jack of all trades. I love this.
It's just, to me, it's all about living
and exploring.
I like to travel.
Did that.
I love to travel. So my thing is, in the quest for self-determination, in the quest for freedom, to be free to just express yourself. Do the things that you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You let it go and work. And that's what I want my kids and my grandkids to do. Is to explore the world to their fullest.
I love that. Really, really love that. We're going to be looking at some of his work later. Hopefully we get a link and we'll put it at the bottom. You guys can check out some of his fashionista work. I want to touch a little bit on your personal values and your legacy, because you've left a legacy, you know. When you reflect on your journey now, what values have guided you the most, and which ones have you had to fight for, would you say, in terms of your values?
My values are based on the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. So there's unity, self-determination, purpose, creativity, collective economics, and why am I missing one?
One more.
Yeah.
Creativity one stood out.
Collective responsibility. Why am I missing one? I don't know why I'm missing. But
yes,
basic values that says you can change your path. We can. So we brought forth humanity, right? And for the last 2,000 years, it's been a difficult time. But we've been around for 60,000 years.
Yeah.
So absolutely, slavery was devastating.
Yes.
But for the bulk of human existence, people of African descent ran things. Things didn't run us, we run them. So one of the things I said quite clearly with my kids is that slavery cannot define you.
No, it shouldn't.
Because the majority of the time, so 2,000 years over 60,000 years, right? So you were more up than down. So if you continue to make the period that you're down define you and where you go for the future, that's a mental health issue.
Yes.
So the only way that you can deal with it is saying, what are the values that are inherent in your people, right? That made them create the kind of the civilizations of the ancient Egypt, the great civilizations of Zimbabwe, the innovation of in Nigeria, in the areas of Nigeria.
Yes.
One of the things that we have done and what we created and since we brought forth humanity is really going back to them and finding your base and your knowledge base so that you can build on and reinforce that. And then if when things happen, you know, in Ghana, the Ashanti people have the concept of Sankofa. It means you look back so that you can go forward. So you take what makes sense from the past, and you use it to project yourself forward, right? So, and certain things you have to live back. So, I mean, I saw this from me when I left Dominica to come to Canada. The things I came with, the fact that we are determined people. I grew up in a nature island where, you know, if somebody is Jamaican, if you've been to Blue Mountain area in Jamaica, Dominica, that's what Dominica is like. The whole island is like that.
Like that. Oh wow!
So everything is lush. You throw things, they grow.
Yeah.
So you come from paradise, and you have to take paradise with you. Yeah. Sometimes the issues in paradise, the bad issues in paradise, you have to leave them back there, right? And you come there now, and you're reestablishing yourselves, and you make those connections so that you can live the life that you want to live. And nobody says it's going to be easy. It's not an easy ride, but you have to have that sense of purpose, right?
Yes.
And also that you're part of a collective. So that is why, for me, my kids were steeped in volunteerism, where you connect, because you know each one teach one, and you share. If I hear people from all over the Caribbean, all over the continent. And so then therefore you use that, you take diversity as a source of strength.
Yes.
Not as a weakness. If you look for differences in people, you'll find it.
You're gonna find it. Yeah.
If you look for commonality, there's an abundance of commonality. So it's really deciding how you want to do things and then taking that and then moving forward, whether it's building a company, whether it's creating a podcast that is going to be $1 million podcast down the road, right? But
claim it.
Yes, you claim it, right? And you work for it. And sometimes you don't have to reach there, but that journey is the powerful part. Because sometimes you have to move laterally, you have to divert, or sometimes you step back so you can move forward. But you do what you have to do, because at the end of the day, you have to pass on that to your children, your grandchildren, so that they can deal with whatever is gonna come, right? You know what I mean? And we're dealing with something in the situation right now where everybody's trying to rewrite our history, right?
Yeah.
But like when I work with young volunteers in the Canadian Multicultural Inventors Museum, we have them creating content. So we can say somebody might try to take away your content, and somebody might try to rewrite their stuff. But you can do that research. The power of the internet as a tool of liberation, where there's people providing history and information all around, right? You can take that information and you can create your own books. At 16 years old, you can create a book about your own history. And no adult has to to decide whether you can do that. You can take that and you can publish it.
Publish yourself.
You can do the graphics, because there's an app. There's apps you can get for $72 a year, and you can do all
so many things.
The technology is there.
It's there now. There's no excuse.
So you can't let somebody else say like that. Yeah, you can do that, but we're gonna create our own stuff, right? So you go ahead with that. You know what I mean? So that kind of empowerment is saying that, you know, that things can be done, and giving your kids the opportunity to be the best they can be. You know, expose them to things. You know what I mean? Make them travel. I was fortunate that my mother had a position. If I can, you know, that she worked, we made $25 a month.
$25 a month?
At the time when she was young, working, you know, she had me, she left home at 16. I was on her own. At 21, she had me. And she was determined that living in a one-room house was not going to dictate where she lives. So she took an extra job, you know, washing people's clothes, so that she could get me extra lessons. And every year she made sure I traveled. I traveled to another island. I went to Barbados, or St. Lucia, or Antigua, or somewhere, right? So people ask, well, where you got the money? But that was her thing, right? And so then I took it to another level when I had my own kids. And they came to me, they said they want a Nike. They want a $500 sneaker shoe. I said, well, I'll give you one look, you know, get out of my face. But if you came and asked me that you need $1,500 because there's a trip somewhere, there's a school trip, whatever, I would bust my butt to make sure you get it. Because I know that when you go on that trip, the experiences you're going to get, it's going to be so much more long lasting than the sneaker. Nothing wrong with a sneaker. I'm not knocking any. I'm just saying that it's the value of experiences, right? So my thing was that you always travel. You know, I said my kids were going, I said, you know, I don't want to see you all around, you know, you're going to go travel, you're going to breathe things. So my kids, when they went to, my eldest son got on a bus when he finished his first degree. He wanted to do a PhD program. And I went to a show and they said, you know, it's going to cost $40,000 a year to send him to one of the top schools in the States. I didn't have $40,000 a year. So he hopped on a bus on his own. I didn't go with him, and went to the States and went to like around 7 different universities to apply and see what scholarships he can get. I didn't have to do that for him. He did it. You know, and make sure you go and teach. You go teach in France, you go teach in South Korea. I don't care. Just travel, do things, get a life.
I love that you encourage travel and you really instill that in your children. Just travel, see the world.
Yeah, take a chance.
You know, that was one of my New Year's resolution was this year. I really want to travel a lot and see so many different countries. You know, I love that. It just seems like you're such a cool dad. You know, if I talk to your kids and they say, yeah, he's cool.
I was very strict. I was very strict. But they also know that, you know, but since I like dancing and stuff, I've partied with my kids. We partied. I mean, I dance more than them, actually.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I party more than them. But then I work hard and do whatever makes you happy.
Yes, that's very important.
And live your life to the fullest.
Yes. It's short. You only have one.
There's trials and tribulations and you have to cope with this. But understand that you have to do that, you know. For my 60th birthday, I went to Australia and New Zealand for a month and drove by myself. you know, from the bottom of the South Island to the top of the North Island along the southern border of Australia, because for me, I wanted to go to every continent other than Antarctica and Arctic.
Yeah, those ones, they're already cold. We don't want to touch colder.
But for me, it was just because I also wanted my kids to understand that they can do that, and my grandchildren to know that they can do that.
Yeah.
They can go out there in the world. So you have to take risk, but you can take calculated risk.
Yes.
I'm not going to ask crazy, but key thing to me is get the education and see the world, right? Because that ensures. Because my mother did that for me, and if my mother, who only had a grade 6 education, can realize that this is an empowering situation for her child, me who had more, much more funds when I had kids, to me, went to the places.
Yeah. Travel, education.
Absolutely.
Travel the world. Hope you guys are taking notes. There's a lot of golden nuggets being dropped right in this podcast session. You know, your journey, it's come such a long way, and just to see how you've embodied so many things along the way, and you pass it down to your children, and you just live so free. I really, really admire that. You know, it brings me to the question about your legacy. What does legacy look like for you? Like maybe in 10 or 20 years, how do you want your work to be remembered?
When I came here, I did not come. Science wasn't my main goal. But that wasn't what I wanted. But coming here made that change. So my thing is, how do we use science as a tool of empowerment for people of African descent? The other part was my dad left a legacy for me. And I wanted to be a better dad than my dad.
Yes.
And I accomplished that. My thing is, the legacy of my kids was saying that you can correct things along the way. My challenge to my boys was to be better dads than I was. And they're well on the way of accomplishing that, right? And the other part was, I wanted my daughter to be a strong feminist.
Yeah.
That she doesn't have to take crap from anybody, from no man.
Yeah.
Right? So I raised my daughter, making her understand that there's no man that's going to dictate who you are. You're going to dictate who you are.
That.
Right? You know, you got to work on how your relationship stuff, but no man can touch you.
No.
And no man can dictate where you go.
Exactly.
And she's well on her way of doing that, right? Exactly. Of living her life the way she wants to live her life.
Love that.
And from a family perspective, that was, for me, was my legacy.
Yeah.
And for my grandchildren to see that. And I see that working. And the other part was that there was no organization in Canada headed by somebody of African descent that was geared to promoting science as it relates to people of African descent. There was that need, and I established that in Visions of Second.
Yes.
So I did that for 25 years, and we won the National Award for Science Promotion. The only organization of color that was in the area of STEM promotion. We were the first organization that won that award. Not Asian, not anybody else. So after I won that award, my organization won that award for me, then I passed it on to a young scientist of Ghanaian Canadian scientists. And that was another thing. One of the things in the community sometimes is people who start organizations, they don't do a very good job of succession planning.
Yeah.
Right? And I wanted any organization I involved with to have succession planning so that you can pass something in. You don't stay and die with the organization because then the organization dies with you. So that first organization, Visions of Science, has now more than $1 million budget. The young scientist, she did amazing. I built it, I set the foundation, and she took it to the next level. Sometimes you can be a builder, and sometimes you don't take things to the next level.
That's
but
true.
she did it. But it gave us something. She didn't have to go, when she finished her PhD, she didn't have to go and work for another organization. She worked for the organization in our community and was able to take it, right?
Wow.
So to me, that was a legacy in terms of organization and community building that we have to establish that. When I came back from South Africa, they said, would you go back into business of science? I said, no, why? Young ladies do an amazing job. And I deliberately did not stay on the board, because when you stay on a board and you're the founder of the organization, whenever things come up, people look at, even though the present leadership says, let's go this direction, everybody look to see whether you're going to oppose or not. So I did not stay on the board. And I said, this is your baby. You do it now.
Do your thing.
You do your thing now. This is a new generation. And the same thing where I'm coming to with SEM-IM. I have a few more years. I want to take it to a national organization. I'm hoping I can do that. But if I don't do that, I want it at a level where somebody else comes into it, I can take it national. Right? Sometimes, you're just a builder. I like building. I mean,
somebody else.
The day-to-day administration of it doesn't do much for me, right? I like the grassroots stuff of going and building and getting, doing the podcast to make people awareness of the organization. That for me is thrilling, right? It's maybe not the smartest thing to know, because it'd be nice when it reaches and you can just, get a nice check. No, but it's, so my hope is that these organizations last, and that's for me my legacy, so that we create institutions that last. I don't like things that come and go, because it gives kids the wrong impression. And kids just wait. If kids know that you only come, there's a term I'd like to use, but it's in Creole, and I don't know how to put it in English. But we have a thing we call it tout chaud, tout flamme. It means that sometimes people start something and are excited, and after that
they just flop.
And they don't want it because they didn't know sustainability. So my thing, don't come to young people and be all hot and bothered and I'm going to take you to the moon. And then you're not gonna stick there to see whether they make that journey. Otherwise, leave them alone. Go do something else. You know what I mean? So my thing is that just make an impact, and the other part is just being humble, right? At the end of the day, it's not about you, right? If you decide that you're gonna work for people, it's not about you. And I was fortunate that I got I would never want to get autographs, but Kwame Ture, who was formerly Stokely Carmichael, was visiting Toronto, and being a child of the 60s and growing up during the Black Power movement in the Caribbean, a lot of those innocents like Garvey, Malcolm X is my personal hero, and for Kenya, and Stokely, I asked him for an autograph, and I told him I'd never asked anyone for an autograph. And he wrote, for our people, we must have undying love. And that has been my motto.
Of that.
That if you're going to decide that you're going to do work for people of African descent, decide that this is the key thing. If it's all about your ego,
not gonna
step back, do something else. But you have to humble yourself. I used to say to volunteers when they volunteer for the science club, if you have to be more committed than the student, right? Because if you want to help that person, so that means that when you come to the session, if the kids don't come, it's not a good thing, but that's okay. But don't have it a situation where the kid comes to the science club and you're not there. Then we lose them.
You see?
So
true.
So you have to, if you're working for people, you have to humble yourself, and and some people, that's not their thing, right? They want to be the big show and stuff like that. But to me, the exciting part is working with people and seeing them and empowering them so they can take action,
and they move on, and progress, and grow bigger. I love that. You can see your passion when you talk about that, especially when you said, if you're not gonna, do it for the long term and don't come with all this fluff
Yeah.
and then it just flops.
Yeah.
Don't do that
Yeah.
for the young
But
people. They deserve more than
Yeah.
that, because a lot of them need mentor and someone to look up to. And sometimes all they have is these programs, to really get lost in and just to find.
So when you volunteer, if you're gonna volunteer for 6 months, give it the 6 months.
Yes.
Don't. I mean, there are times if some major things that happen, but your job should be to give
be
it.
committed.
If you can't give it, because the last thing a youth needs sometimes is another uncommitted person in their life, right?
And that gives them the hope of they just look at
like
it
you just come and go in their life, and then you write on your resume, I did this, I did that, right?
Yeah.
But then, just give them.
Be consistent and be of your word.
Yes, have integrity.
Yes, that's a big one. Integrity.
Integrity. Yeah.
You touched a little bit on being part of your board. I have a charity. It's in support of mental health. And it is a little bit much sometimes when you wear so many different hats. And I think I wear all the hats. I do have a committee that helps and so forth. For me, I guess I just want some advice from you because I find I'm in everything. I'm just like...
Maybe the wrong person to ask advice.
Really?
Because
why?
When something is your baby.
Exactly. It's my baby and everyone's like, you need to step down now and just pass it on to someone. I'm like, I can't do it.
It's when something is your baby, it is very, very hard. There's no doubt about that. It's very hard, right? Because you have the commitment, you have the passion.
Exactly. All of that is there.
Right. The only thing I say is that and I'm trying to do that with CMI right now, right? Mm-hmm. It's I looked in for Visions of Science.
Okay.
Because I had an event at TMU, and this young lady came and I heard about somebody told me that there's this young scientist from University of Toronto's Mississauga campus.
Okay.
Who came to one for the day. So I said, I want to meet her. Yeah. And when I met her, I said, when do you graduate? She said, well, I have another year. And I said, you're going to lead Visions of Science.
And she's like, whoa. She said, okay.
I said, no, you know what? I've been praying for somebody to lead this organization. They had to be of African descent. Right? That was important. And so I want you to lead it. She said, but you don't know me. I said, I don't need to know you really, because this is it. So I said, you know what? Take a week, think about it.
Yes.
Give me a shout. Because I also wanted to move to South Africa.
Yes.
I wanted to go on my own journey, right?
Yeah. Try to get your place and everything.
Yeah, right. And she came within 5 minutes, right? And so she has done. And her mother cried actually. But,
oh my God.
And she told her she's going to lead Business of Science. With CMIM, I don't know if it's going to happen the same way, but I need to find somebody who's going to take it over because I want
to pass it on the baton.
I'll be 70 in March, and I want to just do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Right? If I want to go live in Colombia, I'm going to go live in Colombia. If I want to go Japan, I want to go Japan.
Yes.
Right? I don't want. Right? It'll always be in my heart. So I'm hoping that I will find that, and then trying to get it to a point. I'm working a lot more harder than I think I feel I should be. But I need to get to some point where it makes sense for somebody to step in.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Where at least that they're gonna get a paycheck. When you start something, I don't really, and it's your baby, you don't really worry about the pay. You just work, right?
Yes.
But reality is for people these days, things have changed. I can't expect a younger person to come in and step into this and do the work that I did.
That you did, yeah. Those are some big shoes to fill.
Yeah. Because they have to bring their passion and they got to pay their bills. They're not gonna get jobs that have pensions anymore.
No.
I mean, those days are done.
Yes.
Right? Company pension, very young person most of the time they're getting contract work anyway.
Yes.
So you can't build a pension, right?
Yeah.
You got to freelance. So So if you give them something, they need to come in, they have to have something. So I'm hoping that, as the organization, as a lot of people hear about us on the Moonies, that somebody out there is going to think, how can I drop $50,000 to the same I am so that we can hire an executive director who can take the
You're listening. I know you're listening.
Yes, I know you're listening out there.
One of our listeners, yes. One of our subscribers.
Yeah, yes.
That's, I take that information that you've shared, because it is my baby, and I'm working on it, on how I can lighten my load a little bit. And you said that you can't.
And it's hard though, because it's stressful.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the part. That's the part.
It's Black History Month. This is my business month. Mm-hmm. And so it is nice to have less stress.
Yeah.
But you know what? This is the month. Like one friend man says, Black History Month is also Black Employment Month. So
it's true.
So,
I never looked at it that way, but
so therefore it's a time when we go to schools for exhibits.
Yes.
And last year we saw 25,000 people during Black History Month. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping that we reach that, at least surpass that. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of work to be done. You know what I mean? And I want to be somebody that does that. I don't have to do it. I don't mind going and talk to the school, but like for somebody to take it on. But I also know that it has to be viable for somebody to do that, right? Otherwise,
it's true.
But so you have your goals. We got to look for funding, and then that grants are hard to come by, right? And there's so many organizations competing for grants. So then, therefore, you need to you need to get
you have to stand
donors.
A little bit.
You need to get donors in cyberspace who will come and support this kind of community initiatives that make a difference. And part of the work that we do, we have good volunteers. They go out and like January is Tamil month, so we've been sharing videos about Tamil innovators.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Because we really want to embody our Canadianism, right? This is a new Canada. For anybody who 100 years ago had their vision of Canada, that has changed. We're not going anywhere. The Asians are not going anywhere. Yeah. People of color are not going anywhere. This is it. Canadians, we're here.
Yeah.
And so everybody has to get on the bandwagon.
Yes.
Too bad if you don't, right?
This is it.
And so then therefore we're going to celebrate everybody, or Canadians, because this is our home. This is our place.
Yeah.
Because we want this to be the greatest country in the world.
Exactly. I feel like it is already, but
quite agree.
It could go a notch up. I want to touch a little bit on mental health, your mental health. It's such a huge conversation right now, especially for Black men.
Yes.
How do you personally take care of your mental health? And what gaps, what gaps do you see in our community when it comes to supporting men emotionally?
It's tough.
It is tough. Because we don't.
It's tough, and it's not just, and it's a global problem. We had the same problem in England. I spoke to people in England, in the States. It is a real challenge, especially for Black men and their health.
Yes.
Right. Mental health and their physical health. The incidence of prostate cancer that we have among Black men.
Yes. You touched on that. Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. And we need Black men to take care of themselves. We need Black men at minimum from the age of 35 to go and get annual medical.
Yes. Do a physical.
From the age of 35. Not what people talk about because what happens when we go to healthcare providers, especially they're not from our community, right? There's some misinformation, right? So they say, well, they will tell people to go on 50. I said, no, you got to go from 35 and monitor, know what when you get the results of your blood tests, you have, that is gold.
Yes.
You have to be able to monitor it. You got to keep knowing what it is. You don't have to rely on the doctor. And right now, if you're in the healthcare system, you can actually have a file that you can access for any of the major any of the lab companies, that so that you monitor your health, so that therefore that the minute that you see your PSA is rising, that you can go to the doctor and say, oh, I noticed a rise.
Exactly.
No, it could rise for numerous reasons, but you need to go and check that. And the other part is the mental part of the other part is just looking, dealing with the fact in terms of relationships. That's another part of this relationships. And the kind of building positive relationships.
Yes.
With your partner, whoever your partner might be, and your children. Is it a challenge? Yes, it's a challenge. Right? But the other part is exercise.
Yes.
And making sure that you have outlets. You know, for me, my outlet is dancing. So I dance every weekend.
That's how you take care of your mental health.
Yes.
Dancing.
I go on the dance floor, I go to play mass, and I put everything down. So whatever the moment it is, and go easy on the drinking and the smoking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Some of those substances,
and get involved in the community. If you want, when you start giving to people and you realize that they're hungry for it and they need for it, you start to develop a sense of responsibility.
Yes.
Right? And then because you're not just being aimless, because if idle hands, you know, if you're idle, things,
you know what will happen.
Things will happen.
Yes.
But get involved in your community, decide to mentor a young person or help the elderly or whatever. Because that connection, because in volunteering, when you give, you get back. And you get back bountiful. So sometimes people are very selective with how they do the Bible. They can drop all kind of verses, right? But I said, but it tells you, you know, that if you give, it comes back.
Right back to you.
Right back to you.
Yes.
And if it doesn't come to you, it's going to come to your children. So volunteer, have something that you give, just give in free. And you'll see how that helps you in your mental health. Because you have a sense of responsibility and make a connection with somebody. And that helps you too. Yeah.
To really, take care of
Because on a day-to-day basis, it's not easy, right?
It's not.
Because we get a lot more pressure. There's no doubt about it. Black men have a lot of stress. And the society tries to take you down because people have this. And they've done the same thing with the Black woman now, right? And also for the sisters, we just absolutely need them not to feel that they have to be a super strong Black woman.
You don't.
That is a mental health issue.
Yeah, in itself,
Because the stress of trying to be everything, to be 6,000 things,
in one,
is too much.
It is. That'll break you.
It is not normal.
No.
So yes, because of circumstances, sometimes you have to do things, and you have to wear many hats. But please don't make it seem, don't wait as a crown of glory that you're wearing 6,000 hats and that you're trying to do everything. Get help. Get help.
Yeah.
Because sisters are the backbone of our community. If you run a non-profit organization or a charity or whatever, if you haven't got 80% of the people in the women, just you're going to have a hard time. The sisters make things happen.
Real good advice.
Yeah. So make sure and treat your volunteers right.
Yes.
Respect your volunteers, making sure that you let them know that they are important to you. Because if you treat them right, then they'll treat you right and treat the organization right.
Yes. Very important. Make note.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff you're saying deserves to be on a t-shirt, man. You just want to very positive affirmation, very encouraging. And I hope you guys are enjoying. Please lock in, subscribe. We're speaking to Mr. Francis Jeffers. I'm going to bring it down now as we wind down and just touch on a little bit of resilience, which you've demonstrated so well throughout your career, where you are and what you've taught your children. You know, what life experience tested your mental strength the most, and how did you get through it? Is there a point that you, or maybe one, there may be a few, but which one?
So you touched one and the resistance.
Yeah, give me one.
But you know, one of the things, just going back, remember I missed one of the kinds of principles?
Yes, it comes to you now.
It's faith.
It's faith. That's a big one.
The spiritual side of you. Not just going to church. Anybody can go to church.
Yeah, but you have to.
Is your relationship with the Creator.
Yes.
Right? Not other people's relationship. with the Creator, your relationship
Her
with the Creator,
personal
right?
relationship.
One of the things as a person in science, one of the things, sometimes I have opportunities where I had to go speak at a church, and then people tell me, first thing they ask, are you atheist?
Oh, wow. Right off the bat.
But they say, do you believe in evolution? Well, I do believe in evolution, but I believe in God. And for people of African descent, fundamentally,
yes,
we are people who have faith in God. Doesn't matter what profession they're in, right? They have faith in God. That's the cornerstone.
Yes.
If a Caribbean person almost fall down, what did they say? Oh God. We call whatever it is you call on the Creator, right? It's just something we do naturally. That is the important part. But God also expects you to use wisdom.
Yes.
You can't say that everything will solve itself, because God gave you the brain cells and the skill sets to do all kinds of things. Right?
Yep,
so sometimes when people don't go get counseling, right? They say, well, I don't need to go counseling, I just need to go and pray. I'm saying this, you can do both. You can walk and chew gum. So you can do two things at a time, right? And counseling. And I think it's really important that a lot of times, a lot of people our community don't go to counseling.
Yes.
And you have to, and I really personalized it because I am, because I went to a situation where I made a mistake in terms of a partner.
Yes.
And went to a bad relationship, right? And I was just being hard on myself and said, how did I make this miscalculation, right? And I realized that, and I had a friend, my best friend, said, Francis should go for counseling. He says, I'll pay for half the counseling.
See?
And again, that's the power of friendship.
Yes.
Right?
You just need that one push, that one nudge.
And I went for counseling, and was important going for counseling because it helped me.
It helped a lot,
to really shorten that healing process. Right?
Yeah.
Because if you don't do that, you will just keep going around in circles, right?
Yeah.
So there's some things that from the Caribbean background that we really need to push aside, and understand that they're talking about that in the Caribbean, in Africa, in England, in South America. We need to understand that we have counselors. We have people who look like us who are counselors.
Yes.
They're counselors for a reason.
Yes.
Right. So you need to use their services so that you can shorten healing process. And you need to go speak of your Creator. But you can do both, so that, because at the end of the day, if you don't look after yourself, how are you going to look after somebody
else?
Because you can't look after somebody and then yourself not centered.
Exactly.
So get centered, right?
Get centered. Can't be a half glass trying to pour into someone.
Absolutely. And
love that.
So when you talk about the hardest thing I had to go through, was understanding that I got married and within 1 year I'm getting divorced. And that for me
that was a rough one.
That was a rough one because my first marriage was 32 years. My ex-wife and myself, we're still friends. We talk and we share because we had kids together.
Yeah.
But sometimes you make mistakes, but they don't define you.
No.
So you need to then give yourself grace, get help.
Yeah.
Which is you can get from your pastor, but you have to also get and do what it is, and your physical health, and making sure that your physical health marries your mental health. Because ancient Egyptians call that, when you have that balance, ancient Egyptians use the word ma'at, M-A-A-T, that you move towards a state of ma'at. Some people in the people from the South Asian areas, the Indian subcontinent, they say karma, right? But for people of African descent, if you look at the use ma'at, it's trying to be the best self that you can be, and everything has to fit in that in terms of your health, physical, mental,
along with that one umbrella,
so that you can get to that higher state of being. And it's not about reaching there; it's about the journey of getting there, right? Because then your people who look at you can mirror that kind of stuff and say, okay, because everybody is not born with the same fortitude. You know what I mean?
We're all different.
Right? We're all different. So you don't have to, somebody might, one they can tough everything out, or, you have to be a superhero. You have to be human. But make sure that
That's
you get
first.
help.
That's first. You have to be human. Yeah.
And then things will come, and give yourself grace so that you can make mistakes and that you can pick up
where you are and move forward. Love that. Hope you guys are enjoying our conversation. I want to get into a rapid fire questions. I usually just ask a few questions and then you just kind of pick which one best resonates with you,
Mm-hmm.
First invention you ever admired as a kid? What was the first invention you ever admired as a kid?
GPS.
The GPS.
I think that is one of the greatest inventions.
No, you're right. It's true.
The fact that,
you can just.
I know that happened to me as a kid, but it's just that for me, that invention for me. I come into Brampton.
I
just put a GPS and take me.
It was light before GPS.
Yes, I had to have my book, the book and read it, and okay, latitude, longitude, and then you try to drive and watch the book, and then you pass the stop. Oh, GPS.
Doing that one.
And remember,
I used to print off my addresses before I left.
Yes, and you have to realize I don't. And remember that there was an African woman who just passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Her name is Gladys West. And Gladys was one of the pioneers of the GPS. She just passed away. She's 92. One of the pioneers of the GPS technology.
Oh, nice. Okay, look at that.
Nothing that
Black
can be
history.
involved
You
with.
see?
Okay.
We're not everything.
So, we're in there.
Love that. It's true. I agree with that invention. All right. Science or art? Like, which side of the brain do you feel most alive?
I am actually more artsy person. but I use science. I see science as a tool of empowerment. But my thing is, I always wanted to be, and I never got to be, because I couldn't go to my mother and tell my mother I wanted to be a dancer. Otherwise, there'll be no front teeth. There'll be no front teeth.
God.
I would say, what? But
that's what.
That's why, dancing is my joy, my outlet.
I like that it didn't die though. It's still in you, although you couldn't really pursue it the way you wanted to.
Yeah, I did as a professional dancer.
Yes.
But it's something that if I don't dance on a weekend, I don't feel it. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
All right. One word that sums up your purpose. One word.
Community.
Oh, love that.
Yeah.
Community. Yeah, I think you got it right. In every aspect of what you've shared, community I see is a cornerstone.
So, for all people, we must have undying love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right.
I mean, all don't have to make the same sacrifices, right? Sometimes, brothers and sisters who are entrepreneurs and they want to do a lot of help in the community. And sometimes I say, no. I said, not that it cannot be helping the community.
Yes.
But we need you.
Yes.
To build a business, right? Focus on your business, build your business so that we can provide jobs for us.
You see.
Right. There's no point having your company not doing well, but saying that you want to hire people, but you can't hire them because you're not doing well.
Yeah.
No, if this is your thing, God give you that thing, build that business so that we can get jobs, right? And then you're helping the community. And when it becomes successful, you can donate to causes, right? So you don't always, because sometimes I meet a lot of especially young Black girls, and say, what do you want to do? They want to be able to help kids.
And
so they all want to do social work. I said, there's nothing wrong with social work, but we don't need a million social workers.
That's a big one.
We want you into every field.
Yeah.
Law, architect, whatever, planning, research.
Yes.
Because we can't have everybody in one thing, you know what I mean?
That's
and then they can help. You can help. They can help by being mentors. There's all different ways they can help. They don't have to go into social work. I hope the social work people don't think I'm telling people not go to social work.
They get wasted. I got what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
What's your go-to mantra when things get tough? What's your go-to?
Wow. I tried to talk to my father.
Number one.
Both of them. The spiritual one and the one who was my hero.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah.
Would you say you're a coffee or tea person? Coffee, tea.
It was coffee and trying to switch to tea. It's a challenge.
Coming down now
But
coffee.
I'm actually a juice person, but there's too much sugar in that.
Yes.
So I'm trying to, and I don't want the caffeine.
You see?
So I want to go to tea.
Yes.
But you did that,
no sugar in your tea.
Okay, well, that's a true. That's a journey. That's a journey.
There you go.
That's a journey. I will get there.
Yes.
I'll get there. I'm trying, but hard.
It's hard. Especially since you're coming from coffee. It's got to be free.
Yeah. I like sweetness. So.
Yes. Yeah. And you've traveled a lot. So I just want to know, like, which one of the countries or what was your favorite destinations out of the many places that you've traveled?
Wow.
Because you've been around.
Going to New Zealand and going to the Boiling Lake.
Ooh,
There's 2 boiling lakes in the world.
Mm-hmm.
The largest boiling lake is in New Zealand. The second largest one is in Dominica.
When you say boiling lake, what is that?
It's a lake that is actually boiling.
Like hot?
It's boiling. It'll cook.
So you just look at it.
Yeah, you can't go into bed. No. No, you'll be burnt.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So is it like covered or how do you keep that? It's just open out?
It's a volcano. It's volcanic.
Oh wow.
Right? So the one in Dominica is you have to trek 3.5 hours in, or 2.5 to 3 hours, depending on how quick you are.
Yeah.
And 2.5 hours out. And it's amazing. And so I always wanted to go to New Zealand because New Zealand has a bigger one. But I went to the New Zealand and they kind of commercialized this a bit too much. Walking 15 minutes into the park and you see the lake, right? But in Dominica, you trek, you go into mountains.
Yes, to get there, yeah.
So,
wow.
So, but I mean, it's funny in Dominica, I don't think more than 20% of Dominicans have been to the boiling.
Yeah, ain't nobody going there.
because the trek is hard. Okay. They're actually now gonna have a tram car that you can see it. But the adventure was actually going.
Yeah.
And what was weird was that when I actually went to boiling for the first time as an adult, my kids coming back to Dominica, I met people pass and say, "Oh, was your first time?" I said, "Yes, my first time." And some of them were Canadians and told me they've been there 10 times.
Oh,
I'm born in Dominica. Never been.
On your own turf.
And 10 times.
Okay.
So
wow.
I'm going to New Zealand and going and seeing the boiling lake, and there's a national park, and then walking for like an hour and a half.
Yes.
And just because there's a goal of mine to go to the boiling lake, and then just talking with God and talking with my father.
Yeah.
And that was on my birthday. And so that was my most, because it had all this kind of emotion in it.
Yes.
There was tears, there's all kind of thing, because my dad was my hero. I lost him when I was 9. And so for him, he drove a lot of things for me. He made it sure that because he died when I was young, I wanted to have my first child by 21.
Okay.
Yeah, because my dad was old when he had me. I could always run faster than him.
Yes. So
I had as a team that's going to have my kids young. And I'm going to be able to play soccer with my kids. I'm going to coach them. I'll be able to play basketball with them. I'll be able to beat them in a race till I get older. I can play mass with them. I can party with them. I can go to church with them. I just want to do everything with them. And I got to do that.
And you have done that. I love that. Which brings us to a segment called Good Things Are Coming. This is a segment of our show where I like to leave a positive affirmation with our guests, our listeners, to help you get through the week. So I'm going to drop a little Good Things Are Coming, and I'm going to ask Francis to also leave a positive affirmation for you. Good things are coming because when innovation meets empathy and service meets science, future generations stand on stronger ground. All right, Francis, good things are coming because why? Let them know.
Good things are coming because we live in an amazing country. We have just a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of change, but you can handle the change because you come from a background that is solid, from the people that brought forth humanity, and just live it. Just live it. Live to your fullest.
Love that one. That one was nice. That was a good one. Francis, I want to say thank you so much for basically illuminating us with, the intersection of vision and value and science and service. Everything was jam-packed in one. Very, very love your story. Your work reminds us that progress isn't just about new inventions. It's about lifting people, changing mindsets, and creating access where there was none. To everyone listening, dream boldly, serve humbly, and stay curious. Let people know where they can find you, where you at, anything coming up you want.
Absolutely. It's Black History Month. If you're a parent, if you know any schools, yes, just check out multiculturalmuseums.com.
Mm-hmm.
And we have 9 different Black exhibits that will just deal with the history of people of African descent and Black folks. Also, we have a pan innovation workshop.
Nice.
We have an African drum innovation workshop. We look at the history of the banjo from West Africa to the Caribbean to the US, right? So we're looking at that intervention between the innovation of musical instruments, of music and science, and innovation. But we go anywhere in Canada. You can call us, and we have virtual presentations and we have in-person presentations.
Nice.
And so check us out.
I'm going to put that in our body at the bottom so you guys can click on the links and definitely get in touch with him for all the information that he's just dropped on you. I hope this episode resonated with you and touched you, encouraged you to live life freely. Until next time, bye for now.